Hey, good morning. It's December 28th, and I just put the billies in. I'm about 3 days early. I don't think that's a big deal. A lot of circumstances are coming into play here that's wanting me to go ahead and put them in. There's a rain coming that they're saying up to 4 inches, and it's going to be difficult for me to get down here and do that exactly maybe when it should be done. And so I just decided to go ahead and do it. I was here next to him moving the cows, out. I was moving the cows out of that pasture over there. And so they were right here handy. And the billies were here, and the nannies were here, and everybody was here. So we just went ahead and put them in. I can almost guarantee somebody's going to ask the question, why are you waiting until January to put your billies in? I'll answer that by saying we're trying to work in sync with nature, and our best example of a goat in nature is probably a deer, and deer tend to fawn around late May, early June. So that's why we're putting our billies in now. For another reason, I'll have to start at the beginning. When we first decided to pull the trigger on the goats, we took a trip down to 3 Miles Ranch outside of Fredericksburg, Texas to visit and look and see kind of what was available. 3 Mills is where siphoned Spanish goats originated. I loved the goats. On my way home, I continued to hear the words of Greg Christensen in his book, Raising Meat Goats in a Commercial Operation. And Greg said, one of the biggest mistakes we made when starting our goat herd was that we should have spent more money on the does buying good pasture does from a producer in the same climate with similar management. And those words at the end just stuck out to me, the same climate with similar management. I had heard that a friend of mine was running goats not too far from me in North Texas. I decided to call him. He said, yeah, he was running goats. He said mostly siphons, and that he actually had some available. They looked great, exactly what I was looking for. I asked him if I bought them, would he go ahead and put his billies with them? It was January the 1st. That's basically when we wanted to breed them anyway. So that's what he did, and we took delivery of them in March, and they started kidding around June. We had very few problems other than us being novices. We let the billy kids breed the nannies starting in October on the next year, which meant they would be kidding around March. Big mistake. Cold and wet. And then it got hot and wet. If the weather didn't get them, the parasites did. So now we're back to a June kidding date. So that's why we're turning the billies in now. So what we've done here is we've put our billies in that are the billies that we raised out of this herd. They're the black Spanish goats, the siphon background. And so those are the ones that we've got in right now. Those billies went through a tremendous test this year. Not because we wanted them to, but because of my ignorance. And we started out with a lot more billies than we have now. We've got 4 right now. And so what you can decipher from that is really going to be good, is that those billies went through a tremendous test and they're still alive. So those are the ones that we want in here breeding our does first. Then after they hit the first cycle, we utilize them on the first cycle. Then we've got some other billies coming that we'll kind of use to clean up, to make up the difference. So that way, what I'm hoping is that that those billies will breed our most quote-unquote fertile nannies, the ones that get bred on the first cycle for sure. And then those are the ones that will in turn we'll try to select billies out of next year if we decide to keeping our own billies, which I think we will. It just makes the most sense when you're trying to do that old form follows function. You want to keep the billies that function in your management. And I've said before, whether that be any kind of management, whether you're feeding them and keeping them in a pen or you're throwing them out in the wilderness and checking them in 4 years, you want to keep the ones that survive if you can, because they'll do the best. So that's what we're going to try to do, and just like we do our cattle, and we'll see how that works. Well, I just put the billies in. I just got done videoing a new baby over here. There it is right there. I don't know where these babies are coming from, but there was a goat standing here by this tree by herself. And I was just sitting there thinking something's wrong. And then I got up here to move her, because a lot of times you can tell when they move, if it's their foot or their leg or whatever. And you can see right in there, or maybe you can. See if I can focus on it. There it is right there. Unbelievable. Well, we're going to find out how goats do if they have babies in December. Yay. Well, there is 75% of them right there. We've had 2 to 4 inches of rain, and it has been freezing temperatures. Not quite cold enough to have snow stick, but it's been cold. So I'm just excited to see that there's 75% still alive, and I'm gonna bet that I'll find the other one too. Make that 100%. Yeah.